Hello and welcome. This is Amhara Media Corporation English Service, our channel, directly broadcasting from main studio Bahar Dar, Ethiopia. I am Brahanu Workane with the grand stories. Stay tuned. Aksum Tzion Mariam annual anniversary colorfully celebrated. The faithful in attendance of the annual anniversary of Aksum Tzion Mariam celebration in Tigray region said they have colorfully celebrated the feast due to the peace and stability which prevails in the city following the peace agreement. Mordo Muliye had the detail of the story.
The annual Hadar Tzion celebration of Saint Mary of Aksum is one of the main feasts celebrated by followers of Ethiopian Orthodox Church. This anniversary is celebrated to venerate Saint Mary and especially to honor the Ark of the Covenant in Saint Mary Church of Aksum. Followers of the faith told Ethiopian News Agency during the ceremony that many devotees did not celebrate the feast last year due to security concerns. But this year the feast was celebrated in a grand manner due to the peace and stability created following the peace agreement. They further expressed their hope to celebrate it more colorfully by ensuring lasting peace. The Church of Mary is an Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo church which is believed to contain the Ark of the Covenant. The church is located in the town of Aksum, Tigray region in northern Ethiopia, near the grounds of obelisks of Aksum. The original church is believed to have been built during the reign of Izana, the first Christian ruler of the kingdom of Aksum, during the 4th century AD, and has been rebuilt several times since then. Today the site contains the older church building, rebuilt in the 16th century, the modern cathedral, built in 1950s.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed urges African nations to influence standards that enable them to participate in innovative technologies. The Premier said African countries should be able to influence standards in a way that corresponds with their values and enables them to participate in innovative emerging technologies. Fikradi Zaudu had the detail of the story.
Addressing the 70th Internet Governance Forum, the Premier underlined that African countries should be able to influence standards in a way that it corresponds with their values and enables them to participate in innovative emerging technologies. He further noted that the advent of the Internet has no doubt revolutionized global societies, economies, and politics, adding that the dynamism of the global community and the related socio-economic and political shifts will help them to co-create a shared understanding on the use and governance of the Internet. According to him, most, if not all, African nations have been leapfrogging in this highly globalized context and with the hopes of closing the digital divide. He underscored, while there are many advantages to this, undoubtedly plenty challenges confront and await them as the continent with the dark side of the Internet requiring adequate policies and practice safeguards to be in place. The Prime Minister pointed out that the Internet's contribution to social development is immense, and he stated that the democratization of knowledge and communication, access to entrepreneurship skills and new employment opportunities, healthcare access and education are a few noteworthy ones. However, Abiy stressed that today the principle of neutrality of the Internet is questioned and giant platforms control the contents that users can access. Abiy stated that they control their personal data, and with the power of artificial intelligence, they very quickly cease to be gateways and rather become gatekeepers. He argued that in politics, it has allowed greater participation, but it has also posed a threat to political stability, sovereignty, and democratic values of nations. He said that the key elements of Internet politics are the manipulation of information to frame ideas and behavior. Abiy added, spreading of misinformation and rumors by individuals protected by anonymity has become a common practice. On the other hand, the Premier stated that the rapidly evolving global digital landscape is allowing producing massive amount of data. The Prime Minister elaborated, countering imbalances in ownership of submarine cables, terrestrial fiber optic networks, and data centers, as well as international data traffic routes, particularly for Africa, are dependencies that risk jeopardizing state autonomy. Moreover, he said, we need to have data strategies to strengthen privacy standards and need to prevent feeding the artificial intelligence industrial development and surveillance capacity of third parties. He added, data governance should also aim at harmonizing rules in the digital ecosystem to spur economic growth while protecting individual rights. The UN Under-Secretary General for Economic and Social Affairs Lee Junhwa said on his part that Africa is the least connected region. He revealed that some 60% of the population is offline, representing a majority of the 2.7 billion people who are offline globally. The Secretary General said this is a dark contrast with the developed regions such as Europe that are the mostly connected, with 89% of its population enjoying access to the internet. At the same time, the connected people are confronted daily with misinformation, disinformation, and the fake news impacting how they live, how they work, and how they interact with each other, and the cycle attacks among others. The 17th Internet Governance Forum, which opened under the theme Resilient Internet for a Shared, Sustainable and Common Future, will remain open until December 2, 2022.
Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister AMECO urged Ethiopian diplomats to promote Pan-African principles and Africa's ability in solving its problems through its own initiatives. Let's get more from the story.
The 21-day training provided to diplomats by Ethiopia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs in collaboration with the African Leadership Excellence Academy concluded on Sunday. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister handed over certificates of recognition for the trainees. During the occasion, AMECO also tabled a presentation highlighting the new trajectory for Ethiopia's diplomacy and what is expected of the trainees. In his presentation, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister explained Ethiopia's new diplomatic trajectory and what is expected of the trainees. He stated that meritocracy and professionalism will be the ministry's defining characteristics, and pragmatic ways will define Ethiopia's diplomacy in line with the objectives of the ongoing reform process. Ethiopia, according to AMECO, needs to recognize its diplomacy focusing on deepening existing ties, forging new partnerships, widening its sphere of influence, and safeguarding national interests. He urged the diplomats to promote Pan-African principles and Africa's ability in solving its problems through its own initiatives, citing the successful African Union-led negotiations over the GERD and the Pretoria Peace Deal. Foreign Affairs State Minister Ambassador Birtukan Ayano for her part expressed her hope that the trainings will put the training sessions' significant inputs into practice.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs AMECO appreciated Eswani's principled, solid and balanced stance towards Ethiopia during testing times such as the recent security situation. Abba Berhane reports.
AMECO received and discussed bilateral and regional issues with Tulisile Diladila. During the occasion, AMECO briefed the Swatini counterpart about the current developments in Ethiopia and the peace agreement signed in Pretoria. He stated that his government is moving forward with the peace agreement's implementation, adding that Ethiopia is in a promising situation for a lasting peace. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Swatini, on her part, congratulated the people and governments of Ethiopia for reaching the peace agreement. She assured that her country is ready to provide all possible support for its successful implementation. She emphasized the value the Kingdom of Swatini places on its relationship with Ethiopia and its desire to continue fostering cooperation for mutual benefits. Concluding their discussion, the two foreign ministers reached an understanding to work together to strengthen bilateral friendship and strategic multilateral cooperation between Ethiopia and Swatini. Swatini has its embassy in Addis Ababa since 2004, while the Ethiopian embassy in South Africa is accredited to Swatini.
House of People's Representatives Speaker Taggese Chafo said, realizing national dialogue will be historic achievement for Ethiopia. Abba Berhane reports.
The Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission has presented its ongoing activities to House of People's Representatives and revealed its schedule to begin conducting the national dialogue. Praising the devoted works of the Commission and its members, the House Speaker said the national dialogue is one of the priorities of the nation for this year. He noted that realizing the national dialogue will be a historic achievement and it will be a great asset for the coming generation. Highlighting that the national dialogue will be conducted without any external interference, he said working for the realization of the dialogue will be crucial. Presenting the activities undertaken by the Commission and its next plan to the House, Chairperson of the Commission, Professor Amhara, affirmed that the national dialogue will begin by the coming March. Professor Mesfin said the Commission has been engaged in various preparation activities vital to the effective conduct of the national dialogue to help bring national consensus on prioritized issues at the nation. Irwad indicated that all segments of the society will be given equal participation and voice during the course of the national dialogue. The Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission, with 11 members, came into effect since February 23, 2022. Since then, the Commission has been undertaking a number of preparatory activities, including holding discussion with potential stakeholders to grasp experiences that would help to conduct successful national dialogue in the country.
The Disaster Risk Management Commission disclosed that some 32,000 metric tons of food and more than 360,000 liters of fuel have been made accessible to Tigray region after the peace agreement between the government of Ethiopia and the TPLF. Abba Brahani has the detail of the story.
Following the peace agreement, the government has also intensified its efforts in making humanitarian aid widely accessible to northern Ethiopia, including Tigray region and other areas. Ethiopian Disaster Risk Management Commissioner Shifarao Teklemaryam told Ethiopian News Agency that access to humanitarian aid continues to be widely distributed in Tigray region. In keeping with the promise the government made in the Pretoria Peace Agreement, it is providing unlimited humanitarian aid for Tigray region. According to the Commissioner, in addition to using its own capabilities, the government is undertaking wide campaign for humanitarian aid by coordinating with international aid organizations. Accordingly, humanitarian aid is being made accessible through 4 corridors, including via Mekelle and Shire airports. Commissioner Shifarao elaborated that after the peace agreement and up until yesterday, the government has provided humanitarian aid of 13,000 metric tons of grains and nutritious food. He revealed that humanitarian aid organizations have also distributed 19,000 metric tons of food to Tigray region. According to him, the humanitarian aid sent to the region in the last few weeks will benefit more than 2 million people. The Commissioner further stated that over 360,000 liters of fuel has also been sent to the region and neighboring regions. The fuel that arrived at Mekelle will be used for the objective set through the World Food Programme. On the other hand, the government is making accessible medical supplies, water and sanitations, as well as materials for schools and local residents. The Commissioner said that the humanitarian support from the government will continue to be strengthened, adding that the government is working in collaboration with partners and citizens. Shifarao stated that, in addition to the government's efforts in helping the people affected by conflict in various areas of the Amhara and Afar regions, the participations of the community is commendable and needs to be strengthened. The Commissioner, who stated that there are approximately 5.3 million beneficiaries of humanitarian assistance in Tigray region, said 4.5 million are receiving support on regular basis. Moreover, he stated that the government has organized a coordinating committee to help displaced citizens to return to their village and rehabilitate them in a sustainable manner. He added that besides resuming regular services, preparations have been made to continue strengthening humanitarian support until citizens return to normal lives. Noting that the government has been working to mobilize the capability of aid organizations, he urges the Ethiopian diaspora to support the effort.
International partners, institutions and countries are not providing enough support for refugees in Ethiopia. According to Refugee and Return Service, international partner institutions and countries are not providing enough support for refugees in Ethiopia. Let's get more from the story.
Following the peace agreement signed between the government of Ethiopia and the TPLF, more than 7,000 refugees were in Mayani and Adi Harshu shelters in Tigray region were moved to the newly established Almawat shelter in Dawa district. Refugee and Return Service Director General Tesfaun Gobazai told INA that Ethiopia has been doing its best to provide support and protection for refugees despite its limited capacity. However, international partner institutions and countries are still not providing enough support for refugees, he said. Ethiopia has established the Almawat refugee camp in Dawa district of North Gondar zone. It was learned. There are more than 22,000 refugees in the Almawat refugee camp, and out of the 23,000 refugees in the two camps, more than 15,000 have already been relocated. Following the peace deal, more than 7,000 refugees from Mayani and Adi Harshu have moved to Almawat. Tesfaun stated, with the number of refugees in the Almawat refugee camp established in a short period of time, it is difficult to meet basic service of refugees at the required level. Therefore, the support of others is needed to alleviate the problem. According to the Director General, the international partner institutions and countries are not providing as much support as required. He therefore called on institutions and countries to understand the seriousness of the problem and provide them with further support for the refugees. Tesfaun requested the assistance of international organizations in the effort to provide water and other basic services for the Almawat refugee camp.
Investment Commission calls diplomats of foreign countries to promote Ethiopia's investment. Ethiopian Investment Commission has called on foreign diplomats based in Addis Ababa to promote investment opportunities in Ethiopia in their respective countries. Fukradi Zaudu has the detail of the story.
The Ethiopian Investment Commission organized a discussion forum with a view to promoting Ethiopia's investment opportunities to foreign investors. Ambassadors and economic and commercial attaché of embassies of various countries based in Addis Ababa have participated at the forum. During the occasion, Ethiopian Investment Commission Commissioner Lalisa Neme said Ethiopia is the most favored investment destination in East Africa. She further briefed the diplomats about the reform being held to attract foreign investment, including the measures taken to improve the investment law and business climate aimed at opening up the various investment sectors and economic activities to foreign investors. According to her, relaxing the investment regimes to facilitate friendly business environments, removing regulatory obstacles that hamper business and privatize the largest enterprises was aimed at attracting more foreign direct investment. She said the logistics sector is partially liberalized with the view to attracting foreign direct investment with knowledge, experience and technology as well as management. She added the removal of barriers to foreign investment will improve the efficiency of the logistics service and enhance the competitiveness of Ethiopia's export. The telecom sector is also licensed to foreign companies, she said, adding the opening up shows the government of Ethiopia's commitment. According to her, state-owned enterprises, including the sugar factory, are on the bid for privatization. The commissioner said since the peace agreement was signed, they are aiming for more investors. Before the outbreak of COVID-19, the government of Ethiopia has initiated a wide range of reforms that aimed at empowering the private sectors, liberalizing the country's investment policy regime, improving the overall macroeconomy and business environment, and attracting foreign investment. These reforms are motivated by the need to enhance the role of private sector and the economy and create business-friendly environments through streamlining the country's investment law, regulation, and connecting the macroeconomic imbalance. Lalisa Neme said Ethiopia plans to attract over $6 billion foreign direct investment during the year 2023. Lalisa said, despite COVID-19 and security problems last year, Ethiopia has managed to attract over $4.1 billion in foreign direct investment.
The government has completed the construction of 3 agro-processing industrial parks at a cost of 30 billion birr and is made them ready to potential investors. Modo Muliye reporters.
At the investment forum organized to introduce the Bure Integrated Agro-Industrial Park to potential investors, some 103 investors expressed their interest to start work in the park. Speaking at the forum, the chief administrator of the Amhara region, Dr. Yirkal Kafala, said that the growth of agricultural production and productivity in the region is creating a favorable environment for the acceleration of the industrial sector. He added the Bure Integrated Agro-Industry Park has been built to add value to the agricultural products and supply them to the domestic and foreign markets. According to him, the park is constructed with the necessary facilities including asphalt roads, water, electricity, standard waste disposal system, the internet and other vital infrastructures. The chief administrator called upon potential investors to enter the industrial park and commence production in a short period of time to benefit themselves and contribute to the efforts being underway to realizing the prosperity of the country. Speaking on his part, Minister of Industry Malakwar Level said the country has been working hard to fight poverty with all its ability. He said the federal government has planned to build agro-processing industries in 7 corridors in the country, out of which 4 have already started operation. The minister noted the Bure, Bulbula and Yirgalam agro-processing parks, which the government built at a cost of 30 billion birr, have also been completed and opened to investors. The Bure Integrated Agro-Industrial Park is among these projects built by the government with a cost of 8 billion birr in the Amhara region. He further stated that the industrial parks are conducive to job creation, technology transfer, earning foreign currency and competitive investors. The owner of Richland Factory, Mulat Mengesha, said entering and working in the agro-industry park has many benefits. According to him, working in the parks will bring 9 years of tax relief, tax-free entry of construction and factory machinery, and the country will give 100% subsidy to the investor. At the investment forum held in Bahadar, some 103 investors announced their interest to join in and develop Bure Agro-Industrial Park.
This is all for today. Many thanks for watching. Do stay with Amhara Media Corporation English Service channel. I'm Berhan Workana with the grand stories.
Ethiopian Airlines has a good name, a good brand, and if you ask many people, many Africans, you will hear them talking highly of Ethiopian Airlines. We have an excellent service standard, very competitive with the big airlines in Middle East and Europe or other regions. And in recognition of this excellent service and high standard of service, we, as you may have heard, we have received several awards, and in particular Skytrax, which rates all airlines around the world every year, has named Ethiopian Airlines the best airline in Africa in most parameters, including business class service, economy class service, onboard meal, and others. We have also received several other awards, and these are true testimonies of our services. There are several factors that have contributed to the success of Ethiopian Airlines. The first one is the airline has a long-term strategic roadmap which defines how it grows. And in the past, we used to have what we call Vision 2025, outlining what the airline has to achieve by year 2025. And during the last 12 years, we have been implementing the strategies identified in this strategic roadmap, and we have made significant progress along with these strategies. In fact, in several areas, we have achieved our goals ahead of the time frame. And since we are very close to the end of Vision 2025, recently we have updated it to become Vision 2035, which is a scale-up of the fast, profitable, and sustainable growth strategies that we have been pursuing. Vision 2035 outlines where the airline wants us to achieve, what goals to achieve. And we also have strategies that enable us to reach there. So this is one factor. The other one is the Ethiopian Airlines has a highly competent, motivated, professional workforce, which enabled the airline to implement its strategies. Visionary leaders combined with highly skilled, competent employees were behind this achievement. The third factor which we have to recognize is that even though Ethiopian Airlines is fully owned by the Ethiopian government, the airline is run under pure commercial rules. We run as independent business unit, and this has helped us to implement our strategies without any intervention. These are the most salient factors that have contributed to our success. In Vision 2035, we have aimed to nearly double the number of destinations that will be flying by 2035, to increase the number of destinations from 131 today to 207. And to cover this expansion, we have planned again to double the number of fleet, the number of aircraft in our fleet, from 140 to 271. We have planned to carry 65 million passengers and 3 million tons of cargo. And we aim to generate $25 billion of annual revenue by 2035. These are some of the goals that we want to achieve. When we say Pan-Africanism, Ethiopian Airlines believes that it is a Pan-African airline because it has been connecting Africans together since before the establishment of even the Organization of African Unity. So most Africans used Ethiopian Airlines to meet their air transport requirement, and we take it as a mission to bring Africans together for the development of the African continent. But now, since recently, we have taken it as a mission also to develop the African air transport industry, to take the lead in this development, because Unfortunately, the air transport industry in Africa is not yet developed. And we are encouraging African countries to form their own airlines. We provide technical assistance, and whenever they ask us to set up airline for them, we accept that, go, and depending on their requirement, we assist them in setting up airlines, either national flag carriers or regional airlines. A good example is Aska Airlines, which has a hub in Lomé, Togo, that was set up before 12 years to serve the West African countries. This airline today covers 25 destinations within West Africa, providing a very reliable air transport service and becoming profitable for its shareholders. Ethiopian Airlines has a share in the order of 27%, and at the same time it is managing the airline. In the southern part of Africa, we have set up an airline, a joint venture in partnership with the Malawi government. We own 49% share, and we are managing the airline. It's not as big as Aska Airline, but it is doing well. We also have partnered with the Zambian government to set up Zambia Airways. It was set up just this year. It is in its infantry stage. Recently, we signed agreement with the Democratic Republic of Congo to set up a joint venture airline serving DRC and the region. We have finalized our preparations, but we are waiting go-ahead from the government to start the airline. And recently, we have agreed with the Nigerian government to set up their national carrier, Nigeria Air, and we are under final phase of negotiation on the agreements. We will continue forming such partnerships throughout Africa to stimulate the development of indigenous African airlines within Africa. This will also help Ethiopian Airlines to reach Africans in their up to their smaller towns, and Ethiopian Airlines will work in partnership with these airlines to provide seamless connectivity for Africans to fly to other African destinations or to outside Africa.